It's not a bad painting. It's a weird painting, but yeah, I feel good about the painting. I guess why I see this as something of a breakthrough painting is I was able to take disparate parts of the ways I would go about making paintings. And I was able to sort of bring them together in this painting. And I've been able to do that since in the paintings that work out. But I couldn't have done it before. Like there was the direct paintings, working from life. You know, and I could go off into the woods, look at the water, or sit down in front of a person, and I could do diligent work, and I could make a painting of those things. There were paintings I was trying to make where I would just paint from, well, the inventions. They were too self-conscious. They weren't free from a lot of baggage, a lot of preconceptions I had about what they were going to be. So they never really quite lived, and especially not on a large scale. And the other thing is, I felt like something more personal was creeping into the pictures that, in this picture and then in subsequent pictures, which were something about me, some aspect of memory, without me consciously trying to go to memory. I had no idea about putting a dog in there. I was just really like, how do you build a space or a sense of movement up to here, thinking purely, you know, in abstract or formal terms. And there was something about the way the lights and the darks are falling where it accidentally took a shape that felt like a dog. And so I made this black dog. And as I made the dog, I said, well, yeah, that seems good, but I don't think he wants to be a black dog. And so in about 3 minutes, I changed it into this white dog with the brown spots. And it was the dog I grew up with. We were inseparable. And I grew up in a fairly rural area. And I would disappear into the woods all day with my dog. And it was just the best. So there was something about that dog, you know, I always had my hands on her, playing with her, roughhousing, petting her, that still lives, I think, still lives inside me. And without trying or thinking to do it, I could conjure up, you know, my old dog. So that's one example. And I think this painting, you know, it's not about me, and as you know, in my childhood, getting lost in the woods all day. It's not about that, but I think there's an aspect of that experience growing up in being very comfortable and happy in the woods. I decided I was going to do a painting of a figure smoking at a table. Just, I don't even know why I picked that. But it seemed like something concrete, and I had drawn a lot and painted enough, and it seems like I should be able to make this painting and make it so that it's a good painting. And after 2 weeks of working, it was idiotic. I mean, it was just so dead. It was just so mannered. It was so predictable. Everything about it was just no good. Desperation or frustration, I just turned it upside down and took a rag with thinner on it and wiped it all down. And the smearings and smudging simplified it. And what I saw was the shape of a large tree. So the red there, the red tree, that felt like a tree, but it also felt something like a carcass, or something like a body. And so immediately I started to see a possibility for this thing, completely by accident. But there was something in way that I could see the space laying out as I chased this painting down, where it became sort of more of an illogical space. It wasn't like a literal description of this forest space. It was sort of a space that was a bit out of time, maybe. And so what I did was, as I painted it, I decided to take risks that I wouldn't, or liberties I hadn't taken before. Was I would make the tree shape or the carcass shape, I would turn it in so it felt like really there was a huge hunk of beef hanging in the middle of the woods, and then I would dial it back until it felt like a tree. I think the idea I had, and most people have when they think about making paintings, is the artist is sort of in charge. The artist is the one that's imposing his or hers will and vision on the picture. And for me, what shifted was the picture was something I had to listen to and follow. So I was just really following the paint. I wasn't imposing any agenda of my own on the painting. So I spent a lot of time just giving myself up to what the painting seemed to be demanding, which probably sounds weird, but I think it just, again, it removes ego, it removes agendas, it removes preconceptions, it removes taste. And it allows the picture maybe to become more fully into its nature once you step aside in that way.